Good Lord. I feel like such a fanboy. Especially when it comes to these Hogue knives. I don't know why I've gotten on such a kick with them, but I found that Hogue Deka, just throw it around, it's okay, it's a work knife, as what works really well for me, especially in this format here. This is the Magnacut version. It has the somewhat flexible scales. We're going to talk a lot about Hogue Deka. Not a lot. I'm not going to make this a stupidly long video, but we're going to talk a bit about Hogue Deka and what differences there actually still are right now, and where I wish they wouldn't have done a couple of things. So I carried that for about a month, and the whole time I carried it, I was thinking, man, I'd really like to try that in G10 handles. And there's no knife shop around me that has anything like this. And, you know, it just fit my hand really well. It worked great. It's like, you know what? I like to have a second knife of a knife I really, really enjoy and I like to use and fits my needs. So I'm going to get another knife. So I did. I got what I was hoping for would be a Gen 1. That's what the picture was, and I'll go into that more in a little bit, maybe. But this is the green G-mascus. Not as green as what I wanted, and part of the reason why I really was attracted to this knife in particular and the name is the first motorcycle that I rode a lot. I don't think I learned how to ride on this motorcycle. I can't remember because I was really young. Was a Hogue Deka Road Toad. Well, every time somebody said Hogue Deka, I was thinking they were mispronouncing Hogue Deka. Which, if you aren't of that age, that's all right, boys and girls, because, God, I sound old now when you look that up. But a fun bike. And I just, you know, I had to end up having this. That was another reason, as I'd settled on this. I'd looked at this one ahead of time, but since it had the Magnacut, and I carried this for a little while as well. And man, this is great. This is fantastic. This knife is more solid. There's a little bit more weight. You can feel the weight. There's no flex at all. That's another thing I wanted to check to see if there's any flex, and no, this thing's solid. And so I was happy, satisfied, great things. And well, I don't know, something wrong with my head. I missed getting the RSK, the Hogue, Doug Ritter Hogue and Magnacut. I kind of wanted that one, and I was like, man, I'd like to have a knife in carbon fiber, but just for having the carbon fiber. Kind of what set it off was I got this key bar in a carbon fiber, and the only reason I did is it was on sale and it was really nice looking still, and at the same price or a little cheaper than brass or copper, which is what I probably would have went with, even though it was heavier. But I'm glad I went with this because I'm glad it's a little lighter and stuff. Anyways, I digress. Going off on a rabbit trail again. So carbon fiber. Well, one day I open up Facebook and I hop on one of the knife forum, knife pages, everyday carry page or whatever, and here, lo and behold, it was one of the SubZero Hogue Dekas in Magnacut. And it was below what retail was by, I'm not going to say a lot, but a fair amount, that I bought it. I didn't even hesitate. I just bought it. I didn't even think about it. It looked pretty, and yep, I bought it. And I'm glad I did, because when I did, I started noticing, you know, obviously there's differences, but I started noticing some really small nuances of differences. And I don't know if it's a quality control thing or if they're making things different. And the only reason I say quality control is I heard one person say that they didn't like the strength of the pocket clip on the SubZero. So if you have a SubZero, I'd like you to tell me what you think of the pocket clip on that, because they all look the same. other than that one shining. These are black coated. And this one here feels about the same. I'd have to get some kind of a scale to measure to see if there's any difference. I can't feel a difference. So I'm just pulling that up with my fingernail just a little bit and snapping it back down there. And some people said, man, that's too loose. I love the feel of this pocket clip. I'm not worried about losing this. Granted, it is not as tight as some others, but getting it in and out, that's my jam right there. And I even wear a thinner pant. So where people say it's too loose for them, that's cool. For me, though, this fitting here is great. Or is there quality control difference in some of these? Or some of them built slightly different? Are they, out of a slightly different material? And the reason I say that is this SubZero, the clip on this is significantly stronger. And granted, it's going into carbon fiber, so the sound is going to be slightly different, yada yada. And I can't show through Feel-O-Vision of YouTube because I didn't upgrade to premium. So if you upgrade to premium, I upgrade to premium, you may be able to have Feel-O-Vision as well. But we don't right now. Anyways, this is a phenomenal knife. Let's touch back on the flex of this a little bit. Now, this has been a complaint for some. I watched Neve's Knives. Jared, when he flipped that thing open, he grabbed it and he squeezed that. Let me get focused here. Let me give a squeeze. Look at my fingernails and the pressure that I give in changing color and stuff, because I'm squeezing. And I can't get it to touch. Yes, I can get it to move, but I can't get it to touch. And I'm trying. He grabbed that thing and he just squeezed it and boom, made him touch. It's like, man, old Jared over at Neve's Knives got a gorilla grip going on. Then I got to thinking, because I seen a couple others that said they were weak, and then a few other people responded that theirs was fine. And the people who said theirs were weak had a different color than black. Were you ever that kid, or is it just me and my weirdness, that you grabbed the red car and it felt different than the blue car of those plastic toys? To me, I always thought there was a difference in the feel of some plastics just by their color. Granted, it may have been me being a weird kid, which I was. I'm still a weird man and an adult, but I thought maybe it's something to do with that. Maybe the molding is slightly different. Could be. Or is it a quality control thing? Is there a different density or things out there? I'm not sure, but it's an interesting thing that I'd like more info on. Now, the one time I have dealt with Hogue's warranty was on a clip for SIG K320 that I broke. I broke on purpose, or not on purpose, but it was my fault 100%. And I even told Hogue that I was trying to buy one. They sent me a new one. So I think if there was ever an issue, I don't think they would ever hesitate to do anything about it. The reason I wanted to see this in a Series 1 or Gen 1 is because I wanted to see how that bar laid in there, or how they put the metal parts. And let's see if we can see some of those metal parts in there. Probably not with my horrible lighting. But that metal that holds the arc lock and the pivot for the knife and all that stuff, the good strength stuff, just kind of comes out and up through here. Just a little bit of an angle here. Gen 1, those two screws that came back here was a milled out piece of metal, making that, I think, a stronger piece. And I think if Hogue would have taken that Gen 1 platform and used it on this style handle, you would never have the issues whatsoever. I wish they would have done that. I think, and I know people complain about those two stupid screws on each side because that's too much. I think you wouldn't have never had any flex. I don't think you would have added much more than a thousandth or so of weight to the knife. So you may be 2.2 ounces versus 2.1. And I think you would have had a bombshell of a little pocket knife that, for the price point that these sell at sometimes, phenomenal. I think they're phenomenal the way they are. But if it was that Gen 1 through there, because one of the reasons is I was going to do some swapping. If it was a Gen 1, I was going to try milling that out, or doing it with a piece of brass and milling it out and putting it on that for a Magnacut. But didn't happen. So that's a little bit of a comparison on some Hogue Dekas, some things to think about. Leave your feedback, your comments, start a conversation. I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching. You guys have a wonderful day.